To a conversation when one of the great spiritual icons of our times is celebrated as the inheritor of Mahatma Gandhi, embodies the highest aspirations of the Buddhist faith, in fact, of spirituality from all traditions. He's cultivated the meeting ground between science and faith, between religions, between the evolution of the human condition, its crises, its predicaments. He has reached out and touched hearts and minds of millions of people across the world. I'm deeply honored, blessed and privileged to welcome His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Your Holiness, as we record this program, it's the 50 years since you arrived into exile in India because of the imperatives of Chinese military presence in Tibet. You have frequently described India as the guru to the Tibetan Chela. It's a very special relationship. On this commemoration, I was sort of going to say celebration, because at one level we in India celebrate you and we celebrate the Tibetans, but it's also, it marks a very sad moment in Tibetan history. But your presence in India, what are your feelings, what are your emotions at this landmark? Of course, for a great master there are no landmarks and every day is an unfolding present. But what are your feelings towards India and this moment?
Of course, I think from the Buddhist sort of concept, Paticca interdependency. So one event, there are a lot of different sort of aspects. So last 50 years, in a way, we lost our own country, and particularly last 50 years inside Tibet, there are a lot of ups and downs, and in most cases, very, very suppressive sort of experience. Very sad. But one way, we, homeless person, found new happy home with complete freedom, where you can utilize human creativity nature and get these new ideas, new things, a new concept. After all, India, I think the country, through centuries, many different ideas, different concepts developed in this country. So I also, get, I think, some some benefit from that tradition. And then basically we are Buddhist. When we are in physically, when we are in Tibet, we always mentally, we look India is our spiritual home. So I always sincerely describing India, Indians, our guru, we are Chela. So some Tibetan masters express Tibet, land of snow, naturally snow white, but till light of India reach Tibet, Tibet still remain dark. It is true. So therefore, from that aspect, we are very happy. And now, actually, in practical level, now most part of my life and best part of my life spent in this country as a refugee, or in other words, the longest guest of Indian government.
And the people of India.
That's right, of course. So some kind of, I think, from some aspect, very happy last 50 years. From some aspect, of course, some sad feeling, like that. But basically, that's very nature of samsaric life.
This is sort of Thank You India Day that we're commemorating on March the 31st. It was the day that you entered India. What are some of the things, more concrete things, that you thank India for?
I think firstly, since of course Pandit Nehru, I think in 1954 in Peking, the first meeting took place in Peking. Of course, very short period, but it's a little sort of strange experience. But in any way, then 56, I had a number of occasions meeting with Pandit Nehru and many other Indian leaders, and quite a number of Mahatma Gandhi, so to say, the Gandhian freedom fighter. So I think because quite a number of leaders then quite, what's it, well known each, I mean, quite sort of known each other well. So then after come here, Pandit Nehru, I think laid down certain policy regarding to the refugee community, and in the field of education, he personally took special interest. So last 50 years, I think now today we really seeing or enjoying the significant positive result of these policy. So we are very, very happy. And of course, with the Tibetan settlement in different part of India, many states, the generally relation between Indian community, or local people, and Tibetan, of course, occasionally some problems here and there. That's quite natural. Even Dharamsala also sometimes some problems, but basically, very good relation. So we always feel, government of India and various concerned state government and also concerned people generally, and including Indian media, you see, very, very sort of supportive. So we really feel we found best place where we take refugee. And then I think more than 100 nations on this planet, I think out of India, I think the maximum help to Tibetan refugee community. So we always feel grateful.
In what ways has India changed from the time that you came in as a refugee? And I ask this question in two contexts. One is the spiritual context, that the Tibetan heritage of mind training and techniques and practices were evolved in a monastic environment, and the external reality of those teachings now are very different. The people's contexts, their experiences, the lives they lead are very different. So in what ways has the teaching needed to adapt itself to the external environment?
Yes, of course. To some extent, you see, environment also, I think, a very crucial factor for impact in our mind, in our inner world. However, I think the modernity, I think, means some external sort of change of matter in matter field. But as far as inner world, emotional world is concerned, I think today's world, and at the time when Buddha and some other Indian masters, you see, come, I think more or less same. But sometimes I think some of negative emotion even may be stronger now today. So therefore, I think all spiritual sort of teaching basically aiming our emotion, try to minimize negative emotion, destructive emotion, such as anger, hatred, and through that way violence. Then they try to promote or strengthening the positive emotions such as compassion, forgiveness, these things. So all traditions are actually, you see, aiming on that, same. Then Buddhists, like one of the important non-theistic religion, so the way to tackle our emotion in a world through our knowledge or through our wisdom. So usually I describe the Buddhist way of, you see, training our mind is utilize human intelligence maximum way through reasoning, through logical approach, then transform our emotion. So of course, if you know the real technique of Buddhism, particularly the elaborated by Nalendra masters such as Nagarjuna and Chandrakirti and Shandadeva, like that, these are master. In a way, it also kind of, what I don't know the exact sort of meaning, but usually you see, I feel something like humanism, some kind of humanism. That means not talking about, you see, some mysterious level, but today's, day-to-day, our sort of emotional thing. Buddhism, you see, mainly, you see, dealing with that through daily experiences. So that means in modern time, environment, of course, big different than Tibet, but still, internal sort of world, more or less same. This is my view.
In terms of this evolution, one of the remarkable things about you, Your Holiness, that you're into your 70s, you still engage in several hours of personal practice. You still receive teachings and initiations from other Buddhist masters. Yours is a continuing evolution, a continuing journey. Many spiritual teachers have a tendency to claim a peak experience, you know, like under the Bodhi tree, the Buddha, or someone got some great insight, and then the teaching follows. In these 50 years, in what ways do you feel you have changed?
No, not much change. Although I have keen sort of interest, keen sort of serious sort of concern about my own spiritual development. But some way, in a certain, I think, intellectual level thinking, I think last 50 years, and say the 1960s and 70s, I think I developed certain sort of deeper understanding. But then, you see, these intellectual sort of level understanding or awareness also, you see, need single-pointed mind. That case, my sort of capacity is zero. Firstly, you see, no time for spent, you see, hours for training that. And secondly, my laziness.
Well, I'm not sure that you know, much of the world would agree with you. For once, if I may disagree, and find the courage to say that. But because, Your Holiness, you, despite the enormous difficulties and challenges in your life, you know, both the fact of living in exile, what would normally be perceived as constant humiliations every day, that, you know, you plan to go to a certain country because of pressure, visa cancer. There's so much disappointment, anguish, you know, the brutality in the Tibetan people, so many areas of what would normally destroy an average human being such as myself. Yet you manage to radiate so much joy and laughter and energy. So what is that secret? What is that philosophy? What is that state of mind that would help, you know, common persons such as myself and our viewers even move in that direction?
as I mentioned at the beginning, they look to any sort of event from wider perspective. Then I think the negative emotion, destructive emotion, or disturbance sort of emotion, usually, you see, they have some kind of target, independent, absolute. There, when you carry more holistic sort of, or say, view, or more totality, totality. What do you call totality? Or no, or a concept of interdependency. Then you can see this event not take place because of one sort of cause, but many other causes. And previously, and also at present, at the same time, you see, due to this fact, this happened, due to that, this happened, like that. So that view, that concept, really, they destroyed the independent absolute target. So then the negative emotion, you see, cannot find the target. That's, I think, one, for according to my own experience, and also some of my friends, spiritual friends also have the same sort of experience. Immense help. When you see there's some positive things happen or negative things happen, look from wider perspective, then you see, you can't find something to blame or something too much attached. So that's really helpful to maintain or sustain calm mind, more balance. Like, what's it, some tranquilizer or something like that. You see, our mind usually, some positive things happen, too much sort of excite. Some negative things happen, too much sort of sad or something like that. So the tranquilizer, like you see, more balance. So that's very, very helpful. And then also, you see, when one event, now for example, we lost our own country, a lot of sort of sufferings there. But you see, I always telling people and also feel, if still I'm in Potala, the holy place and the holy Dalai Lama, then I may not be like today's sort of my thinking, way of thinking, more practical, more sort of realistic. You know, sometimes you see, you remain on high throne, and that, then you see, you have your own sort of world. Sometimes it's a little distance from the reality. And then naturally, you see, because refugee, I have many opportunity to meet different people. Each meeting, I get some sort of new experience or new learning, and particularly different follower of different tradition, and also including many scientists, like that. So, one way, lost our own country. But meantime, that same sort of event also brought a lot of sort of positive thing. Then mentally more balance, like that. So every event, negative, if you look from another angle, you may find some positive things. So that also one way is it to make more balance our emotion.
So while you have attained more than just balance, you have attained, I think millions of people recognize you and regard you as a living embodiment of the Buddha and many aspects of the Buddha of compassion. But yet, would you say that in what ways has the reality of from 50 years ago today really changed? And do you feel that the reality has changed for the better, for the cause that you embody? Is today's reality more favorable? Do things look more positive and optimistic 50 years into exile for the cause that you stand for?
my main now, since some time back, I think more than 40 years, as a result of new experience and also seeing it's a different event on this global sort of event. And I develop more sort of conviction as firstly as a human being. I am one of the 6 billion human beings. So individual human beings' future depend on the rest of the humanity. It's clear. We are social animal. Then second, as a religious person, Buddhist monk. So seeing many conflict in the name of religion. Then because of these sort of experience or learning, I develop firm conviction as a human being, as one individual's small contribution. Try to make clear our human brothers, sisters, they're ultimately source of inner strength, source of peace. It's not on money, not on power, but not only on our intelligence or knowledge, but warm-heartedness. There's nothing to do with religion. Even now, modern scientists, they say, more compassionate person, you get more peace of mind. That immense benefit for our health and a happier human family. So, my commitment to promotion of human value, that means mainly promotion of warm-heartedness. That's my number 1 commitment. Number 2 commitment, as a Buddhist, as a religious person, in spite different philosophy, different tradition, and also despite a lot of bad experience in the past, sometimes it's a holy war, killing each other, but in spite that, now today's reality, say, firstly, we have to live together, whether we like it or not. World becoming smaller, heavily interdependent. And with that, we have to live together. And then same time, all major religious tradition, in spite different philosophy, see, all carry same sort of the practice or message of love, compassion, forgiveness, like that. So there is a real sort of basis for promotion of genuine harmony. So these two fields, I think I made some contribution for promotion of these two things. So still, till my death, till my last breathing, I fully committed. So now more and more sort of good human being, including many scientists, are really supporting or sharing the same view and making some effort from their own different fields, different professional way. Very good, wonderful, encouraging. And then also the religious harmony. Now many spiritual brothers, sisters now really making effort for promotion of religious harmony. So now sometimes I feel I have a lot of comrades in these two fields. So I'm just one of them. So judging from that, this body, now 74 years nearly, I feel some usefulness, well-being of others, or well-being of this planet. And also, of course, when I come India as a refugee, and I have no idea about the importance of environment. Now gradually learning from specialists, those experts, then I really realize now world is our home. This small planet is our only home. And meantime, population growing. So therefore, special care about environment is one of the top important our responsibility. So in that field, I also always make awareness, more public level. I always do. So I feel Of course, the Tibetan struggle, difficult, a lot of problem, a lot of anxiety, feeling of helplessness. But at the same time, also you see, certain things which I feel, my life made some contribution, some usefulness, some contribution. So my life become quite okay.
Your Holiness, most people's experience, who are on the everyday mundane existence, is that there is more violence today. That the experience of non-violence as a strategy is seen as an impractical ideal, sort of intellectually attractive, but not seen as a practical strategy. We're looking at an economic recession which has been driven by greed. So we're actually seeing that the degradation of human values more afflictive emotions than less. And it's very inspiring that you have optimism, but for us to experience that feels very difficult.
I think anyway, it is quite natural. More challenge, then that may provoke our mind. Then think, now our usual sort of certain things we take for granted, now that may be something wrong. Then we human being, not I'm something special person, but every human being have the same potential. You see, if you think more seriously, thinking more wider perspective and more investigation, then you get clearer picture about the reality. I think many cases our activities or our sort of thinking based on appearance. Appearance, there are sometimes Buddhists describe as illusion. So appearance, there is always gap, appearance and reality. So when things are okay, then we usually take the easier way, just on the basis of appearance. When things become more difficult, then we go to more investigate, thinking deeper way about the reality. So I think now today, I think people in the 20th century, in early part of 20th century, sacrificed millions of human life and using nuclear weapon on human community. But what result? More suffering, more hatred, more division. So then they, through violence, you cannot eliminate entire community who disagree with you. Impossible. So we have to live with them. So the dialogue, non-violence, become now reality. More effective. Dialogue. Try to find solution through talk. Not concept of one side win, one side victory, one side sort of defeat. Not that way. So I think non-violence concept now becoming more and more as a day. I think reality. Now here I have strong sort of feeling. I always telling my Indian friend, my gurus, and also I want to share, I want to tell interview, through this interview, to appeal my Indian sort of brothers, sisters. Ahimsa, non-violence, and religious tolerance is not the modern product, but century-old India's tradition. Now that old tradition very much relevant to today's world. So now time has come, my boss, Indian Guru, must take more active role, promotion of ahimsa, promotion of religious harmony. I think world need that. It's not sort of it is not good. You see, you just content. You have a long tradition, and seeking something from outside. That's, I think, wrong tradition. I think wrong. Yes, we need modern technology, the modernity we need. But meantime, there's some of our traditional value now must be active, and not only keeping senses, the whole world becoming one entity, one entity. So to promote these religious harmony and non-violence. So that's, I think, the only way. No matter, now for example, Buddhism, even at the time of Buddha himself, or I think the peak university level, Nalanda masters there, they never try and they cannot convert whole Indian into Buddhist. That's reality. Similarly, Hindus or Muslim, you see, cannot convert the rest of others. Impossible. We have to live together. So in ancient time, each country or each nation, you see, more or less remain isolated. Now that reality also completely changed. So therefore, now we must work together. All different sort of people of different tradition come, bring together, and work together, and the spirit of spiritual brothers sisters. Here, India's religious tolerance is immense sort of what's today relevant and benefit. And then ahimsa, a lot of problem. There, so long we human beings remain there, so long human intelligence remain there, the power of visions remain there, disagreement, different views, different ideas, always there. Then, due to that, eliminate other impossible. We have to find, on the basis of mutual sort of interest, mutual goal, that's better world, happier world. Work together. And each individual, small interest, you can keep. But our common responsibility is better world, happier world, peaceful world. So therefore, India's century-old sort of tradition of ahimsa, I think Mahatma Gandhi, at that time, you see, he really made contribution. Now we need more active, this modern facility now must utilize in order to use for hatred or division or propaganda. I think use for what's the meaningful concept of human being, ahimsa, religious tolerance. So I really want to tell you, and through you tell millions of Indian Guruji now should be active. I am just a messenger. Messenger will carry India's message wherever I go. Till now I carry, just for my life I will carry. Now my boss must be active. It is not sufficient. Just a messenger go here and there, and my boss remain like that. It is wrong. Must be active.
Your Holiness, as a gesture that you have provided amazing leadership, that you are visiting places of worship of 7 or 8 different traditions, including Gandhiji, with a group of distinguished Indian friends from different traditions, to actually grow and pray and perform the rituals of other traditions. And I think that this is a very rare gesture from a leader of any one tradition. Usually people from different religions get together and say there should be harmony, and we should be at peace and talk about religious harmony. But actually to be able to celebrate diversity enough to go and practice those traditions. What has prompted this very emphatic gesture on your part?
I think since mid 70s, I think 75, 76, I started this practice at Sarnath. One day, pilgrimage to different sort of sacred temples or gurdwaras of different tradition. Then with same spirit, Jerusalem. Some Muslim, some Christian, some Jews, I'm as a Buddhist. Then later, one occasion, one Hindu is also there. And many Christian holy places in Europe, like Lohut and also Fatima in Portugal. I practice this in many parts of the world whenever I have the opportunity. So this, not only just as a meeting and talk, this is something you get some real sort of feeling. And on one occasion, my Christian friend, as he came to, as a result of my sort of visit to their place and give teaching gospel, quite difficult to say. I'm actually, strictly speaking, non-believer of God or Creator, but I sincerely, teaching them the existence of Creator, God.
It was a wonderful book called Good Heart.
right. So difficult job, but in any way, afterward, the audience, many of them, really, get sort of a complete satisfaction. In any way, as a result, their group come to India, and Buddha Gaya, few days seminar, and each morning, the Christian brothers sisters, silent meditation under Bodhi tree. Such experience is immense sort of benefit in spiritual level or mentally or emotionally. Now, not only they showing friendship, but also they share some of deeper experience of vibration in these different holy places. So now I'm very, very happy. They have this opportunity, group with sort of representative or practitioner of different tradition together go different temples or sacred place in Delhi as India's capital. I feel this good start. Now I have a strong feeling. Now we must carry this kind of work more active continuously, and not only within the country, but eventually the rest of the world must show our practice. That's I feel very necessary.
If you'd like to sort of send out a message, a greeting to the people of India, we're on Doordarshan, it's a national public broadcaster. People are watching you all over the country on this 50th anniversary. What would you say to them?
So I want to take this opportunity to express my appreciation to people of this country and government of this country, and same time reflect last 50 years how much Indian people, Indian government is help us. I think Indian government take maximum care of us. Thank you. In the meantime, I also reflect last more than 1,000 years how much Indian masters such as Nagarjuna and of course Buddha himself and like Nagarjuna. Nagarjuna is my most favorite Indian master, so I always consider his close sort of student. Maybe one of my previous life, some connection, some sort of direct connection with him, maybe, I don't know. But in any way, while I'm thanking India, I can't stop reflection of 1,000 years Indian masters sort of help to us to open our mind, open our intelligence or intellectuals. So thank you very much. Now India, I think traditionally, I think almost the most spiritual sort of, very strong spiritual tradition developed, and also today, generally speaking, Indian masses very much sort of religious minded. Or sometimes I have some critics, Indian sort of the faithful sort of religious-minded people simply recite some Sanskrit word without knowing the meaning, and some offering flowers or fruit like that, without much interest to study about philosophy, about this deeper meaning of spirituality. That my constructive criticism. Please, you see, take more sort of, pay more attention to study meaning. So I want to thank to you. And now, today's world, I think India, not only in economy field or technology field, India, I think from your traditional values or traditional sort of India sort of treasure, such as non-violence, such as religious harmony, I think you have great potential to contribute, immense contribution for better world, for harmonious world.